Sheikh, there are a few remaining questions that we would like clarification on. During the 60-minute interview with George Cryle, there was mention of the Z-Files, and reference was made to a popular television series known as the X-Files. In that interview, you mentioned there were human being-like creatures that were intelligent beings that also co-inhabit the earth called jinns. And you mentioned some of that during your interview, but we would like further clarification on that, seeing as also that George Cryle got some clear-cut evidence of the existence of jinns while he was visiting one of our properties in South Carolina.
Email is from George Cryle. Subject, Ari, your trip to South Carolina, dated Tuesday, 5th March 02, 1857. Dear Shah Sahib, that is addressed to me as well. I did visit a special room and much more, some of which Shah Sahib already knows, and for all I know, Shah Sahib may even have known some of what I experienced before I did. But for your information, and I suspect for your entertainment as well, I begin by passing on the most relevant event of the visit. This is also addressed to his friend, who was visiting him in Pakistan, Mr. Khalid Khalid. He mentioned about a special room. What is a special room? The room where more than 125 people saw on the wall name of God Almighty Creator Allah shining, and name of Muhammad, the last messenger, for whom Allah sent Jesus and Mary to tell the world that He is coming soon. And the rainbow. He visited the room, and people told him, this is what happened here. But this won't come on the program because it's against the belief. There's a dogmatic religion of materialism. So he said, I would certainly not call the incident a miracle, although it remains something of a mystery for me to fully explain. Okay. Picture the scene. Islamville, a small community in the woods of South Carolina. As you might imagine, I've been well received and honored guest. Thanks to Shah Sahab's introduction and instruction to the elders have been talking to freely, feeding us and giving us food and fellowship. Dr. Suhair, in particular, who is here, the editor of the Islamic Post and who's interviewing me, has been watching over every detail to make sure things come out just right and everyone plays their part according to the plan. Comes that a moment when I decide to take a walk with Hassan, the young man who had met us at the airport and who I liked very much. At this point, with my ever-present camera in hand, I spotted 3 young boys walking down the street, and since Hassan is the head of the local Boy Scouts of America troops, I suggested that we engage the boys in conversation. Now, up until then, I had only spoken to the elders who, of course, have the most to say because they are the most experienced and have been around since the beginning of the Muslims of America. But elders are elders. And as we all know, out of the mouths of babies come the unvarnished truth. and so with Hassan by my side, we approached the boys and began to talk, and then to take the conversation, and what unfolded was quite marvelous. 2 other boys, aged 15 and 16, turned out to be incredibly impressive and well informed, and I was very much enjoying myself and the talk when Dr. Suhair appeared in her car with a look of deep, unmistakable concern. This was a conversation that was not part of the plan, and the good doctor was trapped in the dilemma of what to do. On one hand, I was a guest and it would be rude to say that what I was doing was wrong and should cease. On the other hand, as I later discovered, Dr. Suhair was concerned about the way the boys were dressed, not knowing if it would reflect well on the community. And so after a back and forth and a bit of kidding with Dr. Suhair, she agreed with a somewhat tortured cheerfulness to permit the interview to continue. And that is when the jinn struck. Or at least the way I had come to explain the strange force that manifested itself once I turned my camera back on. From out of the blue came a sharp crackling noise. A sizable limb from a tree some distance from us had come crashing to the ground. Watched as it landed vertically some 10 feet away, coming almost to attention straight up and down. And then the top of the limb tilted in my direction and came straight, hurling in my direction. It passed close to one of the boys, close to the cameraman, and continued with utter precision to complete its destiny by smacking me right on the forehead. This is what the demonstration was given of how a missile can be directed or redirected or taken off from its course. Had it been a healthy limb, it would not have been anything but a disaster, but the wood was quite rotten and so. Aside from dazing me a bit, and aside from unnerving those around me a bit, it did not draw my blood nor do any real damage. So, well, this is straight from the, not from the mouth of the babes come the truth, it is straight from the horse's mouth.